Okay, so maybe you've been on the website, maybe you haven't, but Samaritan kind of has two different levels currently for you to choose from. There'll probably be some more offerings here in the future, nearby here coming up. But right now, you have Classic and Basic to choose from, and you'll continue to have those to choose from either way, right? But you'll uh, think of it this way: Classic, higher monthly amount, more help. Basic, lower monthly amount, less help in your time of need. That's the sort of the real generic breakdown, right? So then, how do each of those work? Because I see one's got a higher cost, one's got a lower cost. Why wouldn't I want the one with the lower cost? Well, we're going to go into that right here in this video. With Classic, so you're hopefully already familiar with the way the sharing process works, and when members send to each other and help each other. This is not an insurance approach, nor does Samaritan Ministries play an insurance company on TV or on YouTube for that matter. And so when you are dealing with Classic, you're looking at a certain amount monthly. And I could list those amounts, but you can use the calculator page. That way, if this video gets kind of old, the amounts won't be wrong, hopefully. So you'll have, with Classic, at least at current, that's where those new symptom-related medical conditions are being targeted. And so you have an unexpected illness or injury or a symptom of some kind, where you're seeking out help, there's a concern, you're going to your provider, you're totally self-pay, you're doing it all that way. And then you get all your bills, you submit the need to Samaritan, and someone in the member care center will walk you step by step through the process of submitting the need. It's not a big thing. We can talk about that in another video a little more specifically. But the idea with Classic is it's a new symptom-related medical condition, and the bills for that overall condition are at least $300. So keep in mind, nothing's yearly with Samaritan Classic or Basic. So you have everything on a per-need basis. So, if we look at the insurance world, we look at car insurance, for example. Car insurance doesn't look at things yearly. It has a per-incident deductible. So think a little bit more in that line. So obviously Samaritan's not insurance, but Samaritan has a per incident or condition, or per need, really, as they say it, initial unshared amount. That just means that amount is subtracted from the total. And so with Classic, that amount is $300. What are you talking about, Derek? What does this mean? Okay, so somebody has a $10,000 medical need. Let's use $50,000. Somebody has a $50,000 medical need. They get all their bills together. They submit them to Samaritan as a need. It's totally within the guidelines. It gets shared. It gets processed. Samaritan assigns the right amount of other members to send that member with the $50,000 need $49,700 if they're a Classic member. Member has $50,000 in bills. They get $49,700 from other members. They turn around and pay their own medical providers. $300 is coming out of their own resources. The other amounts are coming directly from various members around the country. That is Classic. So that's how that works. If it's a $700 need and you're in Classic, $400 of that's going to be shared, right? Because we take off that first $300 and then the remaining $400 is shared. So it depends on the size of the need, depends on the context. It's not just for anything, it's for anything in relationship to a new symptom-related medical condition. Okay, Classic. That's bucket one. Bucket two, Basic. Within Basic, same kinds of conditions, new symptom-related medical conditions, but in that case where the total of the bills is at least $1,500, $1,500. Again, not yearly. This isn't a yearly deductible. You kind of have a whole bunch of little conditions that build up and may eventually get to $1,500. No, not what this is. $1,500 per condition, per need. Broken bone is one need. Appendicitis is another need. A heart attack is a third need. Per need, there is a $1,500 initial unshared amount if you're in basic. So, what that means, sorry for the camera work, what that means is if you have a medical need that totals a little less or a lot less than $1,500 and you're in basic, not shared at all. You never got there, right? $1,200 need? Nope. If that was the total of the bills surrounding that condition and you're all done with it now, that's just something you take on yourself. That's a part of being a basic member and paying that lower monthly amount, is taking on those smaller needs. The other thing is with basic, if it gets above $1,500 in total, then it is shared minus that first $1,500. So whatever the total is, minus $1,500. But there's two other things with basic. One would be that you have a 90-10 split. So you get above $1,500 in bills, you still have to take on 10% of the rest. So using that $50,000 example again, basic members would expect that the first $1,500 is taken off, and then that remaining $48,500 is shared, like I say, at a 90-10 split. 10% is taken off. The remaining $43,650 is shareable. So that means over $6,300 in the case of a $50,000 need is on you as a basic member. Now, obviously, that number can be even higher. If you have a $100,000 need, you're going to have over $11,000 that will be your part of the need. So you want to be aware of this. This is basic, and there's eventually a cap on that 10%, $13,500. If you've seen something about that, that's what that's talking about. Your 13.5 or your 10% is going to cap at 13.5. Okay, so that's the other component to basic. And the last one, which won't affect everybody, but those that are, in childbearing years and are possibly going to have more babies as Samaritan members. Unlike Classic, Basic has a maternity-specific $5,000 cap. So in another video we talk about all this, but along with there being a $1,500 unshared amount, a 90-10 split, there's also a $5,000 maternity cap in Basic. So if you have $10,000 in maternity bills for an overall maternity need and you're in Basic, $5,000 is going to be shared. If you have $17,000 in maternity bills, $5,000 is going to be shared. That's one of the limitations within Basic as well. So, Basic versus Classic. Yep, lower cost in Basic. Young people get very attracted to Basic because there's 4 different age brackets in Basic. So, if you're in that under 30 category, you're looking at Basic thinking, wow, that's cheap. I want to do that. But if you're looking at having kids, might not want to. The other thing is, you have a 30 to 44, you have a 45 to 59 age bracket, and then a 60 and over. And so whatever age bracket you fall in is going to affect what you have in Basic, which for the most part doesn't really affect Classic with one small exception. So that is the difference there. My wife and I do Classic. We've done Classic the whole time. We don't ever plan on switching to Basic, but it is there. Basic is really there for that person or family that's thinking, I really want something there to just have something in case something big happens. So I'm not just, filing for bankruptcy because I have a medical issue. I don't, maybe they've got $10,000 sitting around in savings or something like that, and they're just hoping do something less expensive, just kind of have something there. That's the idea behind basic. That's kind of what it's there for. And classic is there for a family like mine and many of us who think, man, if I have something over 300, I'd really love to have some help with that. That's what classic's there for. So that $1,200 need that's not shared at all in basic, you're going to get $900 of that shared. One last note, discounts. Self-pay discounts, because you're self-pay as a member of Samaritan Ministries, work in your favor toward reducing that first $300 in classic or reducing that first $1,500 in basic. So you could potentially have that all the way wiped out or at least partially washed away with discounts that your providers give you as a self-pay. So keep that in mind. Might do another video on discounts just to briefly explain how that works. But that is classic versus basic. I hope that's helpful. Like, share, comment, watch a zillion times, whatever it takes. But hopefully this content's been helpful. Put DEREK THORP video if you happen to apply on your application if you don't know somebody who's already a member. Thank you so much.